You know the day destroys the night, night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide, break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side, yeah.
Welcome to the raw edges of life. I am Dracula. I'm not a vampire. My name is Ürbāh. I do eat raw meat. And I've even drunk some blood at times. Like blood from chickens that I just killed. And I tell you, that is one of the most nutritious, enlivening things you can do is drink the blood of an animal that you just killed. This is a wide-ranging, rambling discussion about Daoist, Tantric Sex, and several other related topics, including bonding in romantic sexual relationships, co-counseling and other emotional healing modalities, and inner sexual alchemy, a form of Daoist meditation. And it will be continued in part 2. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. I'm doing my first nighttime video. You like my eye mask? I love this thing. I just put this on and just get the darkness going on. Doing this thing where I go to bed really early, sometimes as early as 7 p.m., which is just so healthy. This is a red light, by the way, because it doesn't wake me up. Red light is good for preserving your night vision, and white light has a lot of blue in it that will wake you up and really screw up your sleep. So we'll experiment to do a video right now. I've been living this lifestyle lately of just lots of solitude. And I talk on the phone to friends pretty much every day, but there are many days that go by every week where I don't see anyone, and I actually love that. But I actually also appreciate this opportunity. It's almost like journaling. I mean, I guess that's why they call it vlogging. I'm not really considering myself a vlogger. I kind of hate that term. I get to kind of, verbally journal here with y'all. So, there's something I want to talk out. I'm living in this life of solitude. And as Anno at Gaia Yoga used to describe me, it's a monk-like existence lately, which I'm just loving, just really, really loving it, just nourishing myself. And I knew this might happen, but kind of a switch can go off in me. And I knew it might be this very cause, and it was. So she's watching at some point. You might know who she is, or maybe she won't, depending on how things go, I guess. But this woman that I have run into over the last few months, I finally talked to her 2 days ago. I kind of had the whole deal where I got up the nerve to talk to her, and I got just this high from it. It was amazing. I mean, I already liked her energy and was really attracted to her, but just talking to her, I just got giddy. My energy just awakened. Not just sexual, but love, right? I was just felt so much love. And I mean, I don't hardly know anything about this person. I was aware that this is, you could say, irrational, getting ahead of myself. There's a lot of aspects to it for me. It's like enjoying it, just enjoying this inspiration, right? Because this is a part of myself that's been awakened. I do a lot of work with this inner sexual alchemy with my inner male and inner female. And it's like, ooh, my inner female, like this is a possibility that I have in myself. Like I'm not going to be attracted to anyone or anything outside of myself if it's not already latent in myself. And I mean, what is myself and what is not myself? And this is an illusion that I have just a separate self. So just really enjoying and letting myself and then love myself. So bring it back to myself, right? Oh, I really appreciate this person, and they really represent a purity in myself, a freshness, a loveliness. all these needs came up that hadn't been active in me for a long time. And even with my last girlfriend, I didn't get this giddy by far. Sorry to say that, but that's the truth. Maybe that was a good thing. It's certainly helpful in some ways to not kind of get overboard and fall head over heels. Even when I first saw this girl that I just was crushing on here lately, I had this sense like, wow, this person, I could be really happy with them. That's actually what I thought to myself when I first saw her at the beach. It happens to be the nude beach, right? But in any case, it's also irrational and getting ahead of myself at the same time, because I don't know this person and I don't know if I'm in love with her, but I certainly felt that way. It just so happens that she actually looks a fair bit like my mother, which makes total sense. I mean, we always, when we really go deep in a bond with somebody in a romantic sexual way, whether they look like our opposite sex parent or not, if you're a heterosexual person, let's say, whether they look like them or not, they have some qualities of them that remind you of your just deepest bonds as just a very small child, right? Just the first bonds that we made and the most special sacred bonds that we made coming into this world with these people that literally brought us into the world with their sexual bond, the source of life. And when we feel this kind of deep a desire to bond with someone, it's reflective of that. So I have to realize, okay, yeah, there's some deep mother things. Now, the way that I was getting overboard with it, sort of giddy. So I got so giddy, like I was singing. Oh my gosh, I haven't been singing. And I'm so glad this is a gift. I'm singing again. And I vowed, like, okay, I have this guitar sitting at Gaia Yoga, this loft. If it's still there, we'll see. But I'm going to be over there in a few days and I got to go get it and fix it up again and start playing guitar again, because I have been missing it, and I knew that. But now I'm singing, I hear something on the radio and I'm singing, and I like learning the lyrics of just singing over and over again these different songs that, I have these fantasies of like singing these songs to her. So it's beautiful, right? So realize, whoa, this is just like, I've got a lot of love to give. It's so beautiful. And I'm getting anxious, or I'm getting, there's a longing, deep, intense longing that comes up, and nervousness, anxious, and some of that might be natural, but a lot of it is my own distress, you could say, as it's referred to in co-counseling terminology. It's a distress recording of kind of the ways that maybe I didn't get everything I needed in the bond with my mother, and how just blissful it would be to actually get that, although you can't actually replace that, right? A woman can never give that to you, actually. But there's this sense like, ooh, maybe she can. It's not conscious, it's just flowing through me and my energy. And so to take that gift in a few different ways, just on my own sense of inner female, which is very much related to my mother, and then it's an impetus to do some healing work around it. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. That's something that I believe was originally said by the father of hypnotism, the first great hypnotist, Milton Erickson. Time is an illusion, so our childhood is still in us, all latent, okay? And it's possible to actually have intense enough experiences now and be able to experience them as if we are that little child, or rebirth ourselves, whatever it is, right? Just talking right now, I'm feeling really moved, and just this warmth of inspiration, like, yeah, my mommy, right? Oh, like I really got my mommy. And I've done some really beautiful work on that already, work or play of really feeling my mommy in my body, in my heart, really having received all of her love in every way, emotionally, in the way of moral support physically, and I got to breastfeed on my mommy for as long as I wanted. When in historical kind of so-called factual time, I got 6 months, which is beautiful, but I needed a lot more than that, right? But in my heart, I got years and years, okay? I've created that for myself, right? That is as real as the historical reality. So to remind myself of all this, and to go deeper too with what that part of me is that will just so intensely yearn and long for this particular energy, and this woman, for whatever reason, just really inspired me. So what a gift, what a beautiful gift. And to take that back into myself, and I don't have to put that on somebody else. I don't have to project that.
I found an island in your arms, country in your eyes. Arms are changing, eyes are lying. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through out. Oh, yeah!
And if I was to be able to have a relationship with this woman, to do it from a place where I am already complete in myself, and that this relationship, if it was to happen, would be an expression of divine play, so to speak, that, I'm complete in myself. I don't need outer sexuality, but I will express it as part of my play in this world, as part of my worldly destiny, and also as a service to my spiritual destiny. That we might do that for each other, okay, to really remind each other of where we come from, that in our sexual bond, we are recapitulating, like reversing the flow of cosmology that led to this separation into the sexes and into the entire manifest world of seemingly separate existence, but that actually we are one. That we have everything we need, and nothing is separate. That everything is silence. This is blissful, complete silence. And that there's a song coming out of that silence that is singing everything into existence, but that then in the next in-breath, after that out-breath of song, here we come back to silence. That even then, the silence and the song are interpenetrating each other, and simultaneously the in-breath and out-breath are occurring of the manifestation of the world and the return to the source. And that we can know that fully in our bodies. And one way that might remind us of that is the beautiful sexual union that has the power to create life, that reaches deep into the fabric of the matrix of existence to pull out a new soul, potentially. And that in that act, we also tap into that depth of power latent in us. I say us, but it's just latent also in everything. And we realize that oneness. So anyway, whether or not that happens, I also have this oneness just right now, already. And there's no need for this to happen in real life. I already have everything that I need. Even as I was in the throes of this giddiness, I was realizing that there's definitely a yoga here that's very important to engage in. So here we can get even more edgy. If a man is having sex with a woman and has so much of this projection of his sexual energy on her, just is unavoidable that more quickly than he'll probably want is going to also project his semen. Okay, it's just so important to I believe, and I've found in my experience to realize this, that anything I want outside of me is already in me, but realize it viscerally and take that back in to myself, reclaim it. Almost a year ago, I made a recording of myself talking to a friend of mine, and I essentially gave a discourse on how to stop projecting sexual energy. Projecting it, suppressing it, or scattering it are three options that generally people do one or the other of them. Projecting it, suppressing it, or scattering it, or maybe a combination of them. And projecting it might be what I was doing, yesterday, 36-hour, give or take, period, where I was just in the throes of this projecting sexual energy. Suppressing it might be somebody who's trying to be celibate and isn't fully harnessing their energy. And I've probably been in that place too. I've been spiritually celibate for many, many, many months at a time, where I didn't even masturbate. I didn't hardly even got erections, if you believe it. I mean, and I was healthy. I was eating raw meat. Something different was happening, but it actually came out in other ways. It actually came out in greed, okay, with trading. I made a tremendous amount of money trading in just like a 2-week period. I ended up losing it later out of greed. I mean, I made it out of greed and I lost it out of greed. And I was like in the zone for basically the whole time, but especially when I made that money. So that's a whole other story. Maybe I'll go into more depth with another time. So suppressing it or scattering it. And that's what you're doing as a man. Maybe you're projecting it too, but you're like, just release your seed, just blow your load, right? And there's nothing wrong with ejaculation, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. And to really take it to the next level, for me, I'll say, I have come back and forth and gone around full circle on this a few times, and I've realized the importance of definitely in moderation, if not full elimination or down to like really low levels, like once a month or even less would be ideal as a frequency of ejaculation. Now, I'm older too than I used to be, so it becomes more important then, but it's actually also important at a younger age. But there's actually a lot to it, in my view, to really know how to do this in a sustainable way. And I haven't necessarily dialed it in 100%, but I have picked up some pointers on the way and some skills and a level of mastery of this. And it's totally, absolutely key, though, to realize these dynamics. My very first introduction to Daoist spirituality was this book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man by Mantak Chia. And it's actually a really amazing book. It has some techniques in it that are actually dangerous. So message me or something if you're into that book and you start practicing it. So don't just do everything in that book willy-nilly. I mean, I did it all in that book and probably damaged myself a little bit. I think I was lucky that I wasn't more dogged with it. I mean, there's definitely moderation in all things, including moderation. So that book is all this kind of energy mechanics that actually it can go a long way and can really help, like, to circulate your sexual energy to your brain and your heart and your belly and your bones and all of your energy channels and your organs, and it's nourishing your body, and you bring it to your brain and it's just like restoring your creativity, inspiration in your heart, and it's like this beautiful warmth and connection of all aspects of yourself. And it's super healthy, and especially for men, to connect their sexuality with their heart energetically, right? So that's awesome. And like in your belly is just like this deep nourishment, right? This fulfillment, literally, right? But if it's just moving the energy, it only can go so far to counteract this force of projection and scattering the energy, because it just becomes too much. We become too much with ourselves and can't help but, you just ejaculate. And there's other implications for women, but I can't speak to that with nearly the level of experience, of course, obviously. So in order to not scatter your sexual energy, I found that for these Daoist sexual practices, it's actually really important to, like, on a deep psychic level, in your psyche, to reclaim this impetus to want to project your energy at someone. And it comes back to all different levels, and like these kind of deep psychological levels that I'm talking about. I'm just really glad to have had this little taste of this kind of experience, like little reminders of how it used to be for me, and reminders to go back deeply inward and really love myself, really feel the love of my mother and my father. My mother is informing my inner female, and my father is informing and strengthening my inner male, that I have all I need from these two most important and most direct ancestors. Just all this love, the entire love of the universe filtering through them, and then their parents, and my entire line, back and back and back to eternity. Their love is there, standing behind me. Their hands are on my shoulders. They're embracing me, and they are just pouring their love down the ages to me. And here I am, and I am pouring my love to my descendants. Maybe I will have some descendants, right? I'd like that. And this impetus in me to connect is part of my worldly destiny, to potentially manifest that, but in a way that is also serving my spiritual awakening, and is really harnessing these forces to be fundamentally nourishing and fundamentally sustainable